Quick update in case any of you were wondering. These videos, I'm gonna try my hardest to get as many as I can out, but with the way things are kind of going right now and timing wise and, you know, life happening, it's been kind of difficult. So one a week is the goal, like at least one. And if we can do any more than that, I'll be proud of myself. So, but I'm going to try and do more if I can find time and then do them all like at once. So I might have to like record ahead a little bit. Today, I only have time for one. So that's all we're going to get for right now. But when I find like spare time, mixing it in with Beyond the Boundary and stuff, it makes it a little bit more difficult, which is why doing ongoing series when I have a bunch of other stuff going on is a little bit more difficult. But we're trying to do what I can do here. Last time, because it took, Lord knows, since the last time I watched one, I think we're on the hunt for Suzu's dad. We've apparently found him. Mr. Man, I don't think the guy had a name, but the guy that we found in the street. Seems to have a connection or understanding of where he's seen the logo and the symbol or something. So we might have not found the dad, but we found a clue at least towards what can kind of lead us to him. And I'm excited to see if my suspicions on who it possibly could be are correct. And also if it's just somebody that they haven't introduced us to yet. I don't know. It'd be really funny if it was like somebody from like CERN organization around her time, like when she's older, that she like absolutely hates, and then she just finds out like in the past, oh, that's actually my dad, and like her beliefs of like where her dad is or like why she like hasn't met him or doesn't know him and stuff like don't actually match up. He just like kind of did away with her. I think would be a really weird and interesting route to go, but I don't think that's going to be as likely. If you like it all though, hit the like and subscribe to mean a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Leave any comments about this episode or this series. Let's get going though with episode 16.
Yes. そのゲストが make me please pin badge. You が持ってきたのとセームだったのよ。その男がピンバッジの制作を依頼したんだな。
Who though?
そいつはどんな男だった？どんな？
I don't know.
そうね。Like a barrel.
That would make sense. Yeah.
No, no.
Chose
Just
barrel.
like a barrel.
He's shaped like one, like Daru. Taru, yeah.
Just a taru. A balloon.
She's saying that he's fat.
その男の連絡先は
Sorry. Private information. Nothing.
まだ方法はある
If to go back to when he does it. Yeah.
時間を遡れば
We have to go back to when he actually places the order. That's going to be important. I'm not paying attention to that. I'm just letting you know. I'm just going to go with the flow of the show. I gotta stalk this guy.
その男が何時頃やってきたのか
Yeah, what if you're too late and then you just... Oh, it's fucking Daru, bro. I've been saying this. Oh, I was sketched out last week about this.
嘘には2種類ある。人を傷つける嘘と優しい嘘。
そんなことをして鈴葉が喜ぶとでも思ってい
Yeah,
るのか
come on, buddy.
しから誰にも言うなって言われてんだけど。あのタイムマシンは過去にしか飛べないらしいんだ。
So she's stuck.
言ったら戻ってこられない。
And so far, ours hasn't figured out a way to go forward either, so...
ダメで判断するなと言ったろ
The same story again. Yeah, same exact dialogue. Yep. Okay, and then this again. We replay it all.
時代に来ることができて、君たちと同じ時間が過ごせて、私本当に楽しかった。ほんのちょっとでもきっと未来を
きっと未来を変える今みたいな自由な世界に変えてやる後悔していないか
Absolutely not.
別れが必然ならば最初から俺たちと仲良くなどならなければよかったと後悔していないのか
ひょっとして橋田至から聞いた
どうなってもいいというのか
Oh, I wasn't even putting it into... So she can't, but she's gonna try, and then it's gonna erase her in a way.
ほんとすごいよ君はもっと喜んだら君はタイムマ
The
シンを
happiest
修
man
理
in
し
the
たんだ
world
よ
right now.
1975年
We're going back, baby.
何日がいいかな こういう時は大安吉日それとも友引き
We're gonna lose her.
FG204 ねえすずさん
What is this?
何これって
It's a bumper sticker.
父さんがつけたタイムマシンの名前
FG204. It's different than FB. FG. I got nothing.
大事にするありがとう
Here's your parting gift.
ま
Okay.
ゆしすずさんのお父さんが誰なのか分かっちゃいました
She actually might have.
なんかお似合い
Is it Daru?
でも今分かりました
I'm so
お二
fucking
人が親子だ
lost.
ったからなのですお父さんはダルくんです
Yeah. How did you get that from the name?
そもそもこの変態が結婚なんて
その発言はひどく
説明してくれ。どんな理由でこの結論に至ったのだ。
まずバレるってタル
Yeah, we've been on that one.
タルダルくん
Yeah.
ダジャレ。
そんなことが理由になるか。
Yeah, there's more.
す
There's
ずさんがい
more.
たレジスタンスを作った人の中にはオカリンもバレルタイターさんもいたんでしょ
Yo.
2010年の秋葉でタイムマシンを独自に研究できてオカリンのリーディングシュークリームに
リーディングしたいな。
Close it
に
off.
ついて知ってる人ねダルくんしかいないでしょ G204 フューチャーガジェットのことだよ、
未来ガジェット。
He's the only one who would do
この
that.
横にも文字があるでしょ
Second edition? Oh my god.
フューチャーガジェット2045セカンドエディションバージョン 2.31。
Wait a fucking minute. Well. Well. The suspicion seemed to be correct. Oh. That's a little weird.
そういう時はパパと呼びなさい
You
この
shouldn't.
時くらい変態はやめろよ。
You weirdo, bro. You're not that things you just said to your daughter.
父さん私来たよ父さんに会うために
Bro, he doesn't know how to
父
process
さんの
those.
作ったタイムマ見ててほしい
見てる
Yeah.
絶対に見てる
Oh. Oh. This is so weird.
ちなみに母さん可愛かったロリ顔で背が小さくて巨乳っての希望
Did we know the mom?
それは内緒にしとく
Ah.
IBN5100 を手に入れてみせる
I appreciate
そ
you.
して必ず君たちに託すだからお願い未来を変えてほしい
Huh.
それじゃ35年後にまた会おう
See you,
君たちに
brother.
とっては数時間後か
Yeah, how does that work too? So she goes back and then will she be here still though, you know? But things will change? Maybe not, maybe? I don't know. Mm-mm.
鈴葉きっとまた会おうな僕その時まで頑張るからさ
Yes, yes. Oh shit.
ピンバッジ、私たちのイニシャルだったのかな。岡
Ah,
部の O、橋田の H、椎名の S。
that's so sweet.
季節で絵が同じってことだね
ダイバージェンスメーターの値が変わっている。
Ah,
今の天音さんが IBN5100 を持ってきてから変わるとか。
I don't know.
鈴葉54歳になってるわけっしょ自分の娘が30歳以上年上
結婚して孫がいてもおかしくないわね。
I don't even know where mom yet.
この年にしてひ孫の姿を拝めると
ひいおじいさんらしくどーんとか
It's actually such a funny dynamic. Is she here? Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh fuck. It's Moika. Like for sure, right? Oh, broad.
ミスター・ブラウン。
What do you got for us? Don't break our heart. Oh.
俺が世話になった人からの手紙だ。今日お前に渡してくれって頼まれたんだ。
Ah.
今どこに。
亡くなったよ。
今は西暦2000年の
Mm.
6月13日です。 結論だけ書く。失敗した。失敗した。失敗した。
So we sent her and we lost her in the process. That's a big
失
turn.
敗した。失敗した。私は失敗した。私だということを思い出したのはほんの
Wow.
1年前だった。私はこの24年間記憶を失っていた。タイムトラベルはうまくいかなかった。修理が完全じゃなかったんだ。でも父さんは悪くない。
Good she said that because I felt like he would take on
1975年に飛んでいればよかった。2010年に寄り道すべきじゃなかった。わがままを言ってる場合じゃなかった。
That's cool.
ごめんね。私は何のためにこの年まで生きてきたんだろう。使命を忘れてただのうのうと生きてきた。
They're not.
許して許して許して。
They're far from that.
浮かぼうとした私を引き止めた。引き止められたからその夜にライブがあってタイムマシンが壊れてしまったんだ。もしも時間を戻せるならあの日の私を引き止めないようにして。
Let me go. So now he's gonna put it on him for a mistake that he may have made there. And that was a big moment then. Oof.
聞かせてください。橋田すずさんの亡くなった状況を。
なる好奇心ってわけじゃなさそう
It's
だな。
not.
しかしお前、すずさんとはどういう関係だ？
Oh, she's Dara's daughter.
知り合いです。とても。
あまり言いたくはないんだがな。自殺だ。
I was
自
thinking
宅で
that.
首をつってな。
Because she failed, probably, and she realized it then.
ぐらい前から精神的に不安定になってな。
Till the point that she remembered herself and what she was there for, and she lost it, and then he puts the blame on himself. Right.
鈴葉を引き止めたから。
We saved Dara with what she said to him, not putting blame on him, but it all came down to him instead.
975年に旅立てたんだ。
And you were the one who stopped it.
ちょっと岡部、何するつもり？
このままでは。
D メールを送るの。そんなことしたら全部消えちゃうんだよ。
Mm-hmm.
すずさんとの思い出も全部なかったことになっちゃうんだよ。
分かっている。
That's a tough thing to do.
未来を変えてほしい。
Change the future, not the... Well, you could technically change the future by changing the past. We're gonna do it.
岸田鈴か。懐かしい名前だな。
Wow.
お前、すずさんと知り合いだったのか？
And we lost it all in that. That
その
sucks.
人は今は。
No.
もうかれこれ10年ほどになるかな。
ですか。
あ？病気で亡くなったんだよ。あの人の住んでた家は今は俺が使ってんだ。
So,
この自転車。
ああ、それはすずさんが
The
すっ
bike.
げえ大事にしてたんだ。
Huh.
この家が火事で全焼してな。全部なくしちまった俺をすずさんがこの家に下宿させてくれたんだ。もうしてなかったようだな。なんだか不思議な人だった。縁もゆかりもない俺になんでこんなによくしてくれるんですかと尋ねたことがある。
So she
そし
does.
たらあの人は笑ってこう答えたよ。巡り巡って人は誰かに助けられて生きている。だから君もいずれ誰かを助けてあげなさいってな。
Awesome.
すずさんの持ち物だ。
Ah,
何の数字かわかるか？
they're different.
変えられたのかなって最後までなんか気にしてたんだよな。
ダイバージェンスの数値は変わっていた。
Yeah. It's not what we needed at though. Right.
1% は超えていない。山手線が動いている。
Oh. So it wasn't all a waste.
参れ。
It's still moving. Went all the way. It's a step, but at the cost.
これで世界は変わったのか。
Did it work?
マユリは
A
救われたのか。
couple things to start off. I went through and skimmed through some of the scenes a little bit because I felt at certain points I fell off, and then I like picked them back up and understood what was going on, and then I felt like I was missing the mark on a few of those. So hopefully that helps me gain a better grasp for what kind of happened here. Regardless, very, I guess, sad, emotional, touching episode for especially those characters, but people who are massive fans of Souza and her contributions here into the story. So rip to her, and hopefully we see her again. It makes you question, I guess, the likelihood or the possibility, I don't know, that things can change. We pass a divergence line, puts us into a universe where Suzuha's still alive, still a person that we can meet, still travels back through her time, possibly even just past one where Daru still winds up, being a father to her. And at some point she comes in the future. So I'm not, because that's the case with time travel stuff, is like you can almost never cross off the opportunity to bring somebody back afterwards, unless like things passed and you don't like go in the past and then you play around with it's different. It's difficult based on the system in play here that you can kind of work with. But I am curious if that's a possibility. The other thing that I was like well off on, her goodbye was one of them. I was definitely off on that, and not understanding that the replay, because I kept saying like, oh, they got to be showing us this for a certain reason. The goodbye, I believe now, is more of her saying this, like repeating what we saw in the previous episode, specifically to showcase like this is more of like a I'm never going to see you again type of thing, because she's well aware that she can't flash herself more into the future, like she can't travel herself more into the future, and once she's back she has to live out the entirety of that time. And she's also probably well aware, for whatever reason, that it's not going to work out favorable or in a way that she's probably going to meet them, and she's kind of accepted that fate at the end of the day that she believes to be coming, which is a lot more sad, now in the moment than I was making it out to be. Another thing I felt I was a little bit off on, but I think I get a bit more, is the reason for everybody kind of like yelling or getting a bit upset about the idea that he would go back and he would send the D-mail and change the line that they're in. And at first I was just taking it more of like, are you going to be okay losing that connection that we had, that physical, those moments and those memories and stuff that we have together? But to me, it was more of like, it doesn't really matter because he's going to retain them. But that's me also completely overlooking the idea that every one of these characters, now that we shift these lines, aren't going to have those same memories in the meeting of Suzuha at all. They're not going to have her in their lives at all and not remember these final days and moments and all these things that they figured out. And Daru's not going to remember him being the dad, and they're not, you know what I mean? We're going to miss all these touching moments and stuff. So it's a lot. It's not just changing things for himself or for what he really wants. He's taking things from others when he does this, and changing the world more for a selfish reason, I guess, as opposed to what others would want, and actually listening to them and hearing people out and working on things like that together, which is interesting. But arguably what Suzuha would want, because she was asking us to change this future and he felt that this would be the proper way and the correct route to go. So if we're putting all our faith and trust in him, I think we have to follow under the idea that this is what she would have wanted. She would have wanted him to do this. Whether it works out or not, I think him taking that step in making that tough decision to do it is more so along the lines of what she would have come to expect, and the reasons that she entrusted all of her hope and stuff within him. I am left uncertain where we go from here. The ending left me rather confused. The Mayuri, the time passing, we were able to avoid the first major disaster things that happened. So whatever linkage they had to Suzuha or whatever things occurred because she was also involved and no longer happened in this line, that allows everybody to still be together and us to get past this one date that we haven't gotten before. Pretty cool, but at the same time, what does that do for us? I guess it allows us to move forward a bit more and not have to constantly go backwards and replay the same 2 days or whatever we've been doing, right? So that's pretty cool, but where the characters are going to head now, we have to investigate more into the Moyako stuff, the things that we already know, learning how to cross the divergence line, variety of things, I guess, routes that we can go, but there's no like immediate like this is the proper next step to take, in my opinion. And it's more so Okabe probably being at a loss for where to go, and the other characters not even really aware of literally anything that we just kind of went over. Because now that I think about it, they're not actually aware of anything, right? So they met Suzuha though in this line, right? But only for a little bit, but they didn't meet her, have these discussions and conversations when she tells us about the time machine, and we actually like learn all about that stuff. So they don't fully understand, Kurisu doesn't understand what she'll become one day or or said to become one day. And all that stuff could still change, but that's a fated thing that they talked about, right? Like one of those points. So realistically, it's going to happen at some time. So there's a lot for them to, I guess, kind of get caught up on by him. And for us to kind of clue all of them in on, and then us have to figure all this out. Because we sent them the mail prior to, it was like episode like 10-ish. It was like back then. So prior to the events that happened there, stopping her from, or no longer stopping her from going to see her dad, and then going back then, because things would turn out better because the machine wasn't as faulty. So my assumption there is also the machine was faulty the first time, which caused her not to retain memories in her proper form and self for the time that she should have. And then that's why all of it kind of hit and she regained it at some random point, which ultimately drove her to insanity, probably having to take all this on and understanding where you are, it all coming to you at once. Also, the idea that everything at that point, she realized she wasted her entire life and she basically failed what she was intended to do at this point. And that's why she kind of went insane and ended up killing herself in that line. And then now that we've changed things, as a result of her properly going back when the machine's fully intact this time, it allows her to no longer have to go through that, because she probably retained everything from the beginning, so she could make the attempt to get the IBN and do whatever she had to, starting from 1975 or whatever year it was that they went to, and then, but she still failed, so it didn't really matter. But that's why she was able to live out her life to the fullest at that point. Unfortunately, still around the same time, which makes you wonder it's a similar thing to all the times Mayuri keeps dying, or maybe one of those fated things that's just going to kind of occur at some point throughout these lines, and she's meant to go at one of those points. Interesting to note. I love the build up to the Daru reveal here. The entire first half is just like jokes to me, which is great. But I love the whole build up of calling it like a person like a balloon or a barrel, but not like this person, like basically just had to get the size of the person and the way that he's shaped and stuff. It makes too much sense. And then us catching him and figuring out here, this is where we figure out the whole thing, is rather just funny to me. Having to be confronted with that idea is really interesting. And then this is where we repeat, let's have the same exact conversations over and over, which made me really question the direction and things that we're going to kind of head into and where we're going. This conversation makes a lot more sense to me now that I can fully understand this is like a full goodbye, because she truly believes she won't ever see us again at this point, which is sad, you know, of course it is, especially now that later on we end up getting that text message from her, which is even worse. I love Mayuri actually noticing that Daru was the dad, gluing all these things together. I couldn't piece any of those together, but it makes enough sense now that they explained it, and I definitely get that. I also just love that it was her that figured it out, because it makes sense. It's like one of those things we're worried about, like big picture things right now, that she's somebody who can kind of key in on the smaller details and the things that maybe we'll overlook in these moments, and she has like the clearest view on all of this, so it works out really well, which I really love. The whole moment of them coming into understanding that they might be related is so funny to me too. Him trying to be like, fuck, I gotta be a dad, like, not knowing how to act. I also love this about him asking about the mom and us not getting a answer. I don't think we know any girls that fit this description in the show, so I don't believe we know who she would end up being, but funny enough and interesting enough. Hopefully maybe at some point we can get some insight into that, but it doesn't really matter right now. The goodbye text, of course, it hurts, and then you see her just vanish and she goes away. The line hasn't crossed. We didn't get over the 1% line at this point, so of course things aren't going to look great. This is pure gold to me. Him realizing, oh, my daughter is like 30 years older than me. She might even have kids. It's the weirdest shit, which is fantastic. The letter from Braun, of course, and figuring out that she failed. Heartbreaking to see somebody have to go through this and feel that they wasted their entirety of their lives, which absolutely sucks. I love these visuals here that they showcased while they were having her explain her story, which was fantastic. I also love the blame that gets put on Okabe, or the blame he puts on himself, really, because she wasn't trying to blame him, but it made me question earlier, Daru is going to get the blame put on him, or he's going to put it on himself, because she was, you know, in contact with the dad. She came back and searched for him, like did all these things that he feels it's his fault. And now she was like, no, trust me, it's not Daru's fault. So she clarified that so that he can kind of be, assured that maybe it wasn't him, but doesn't necessarily do the same thing for Okabe. So he puts it all on himself, which is understandable, because literally when you tell a dude, if you didn't send me that mail that day, shit, this might have not happened. And then now he's like, great, now it's all my fault that I actually did this. So of course this moment absolutely sucks here, when everybody's, or especially Mayuri's, yelling out and trying to stop us from going back and ruining the memories and the moments and stuff that we've all shared and had together. Of course, we figure out here things actually did change to a good point, but we couldn't cross over the divergence line. I love seeing like the bike and all this other stuff get brought back in. Interesting enough. I don't know how to read where we're gonna head now though, and what we're gonna do. I don't think I have much more I want to say. I think I'll just kind of leave it at that. Very good episode once again. Very excited to see where we're gonna come. If I overlook things, miss things, misunderstood things that I was supposed to understand, so not that you would spoil it when you explain it, but when you correct me, if that makes sense. Whatever it is, just let me know. You got anything you want to share down below. I'll be back for episode 17 soon though. You guys have a good one. Peace.